Hello and welcome back to the channel. So at long last, Yuffie has arrived in Ever Crisis. I'm sure stoke levels are high throughout the community. I know they are with me, because I've been waiting for her. And so yeah, we have a new banner to look at in this video. Let's look at that and also review all of the weapons that just released for her. So I kind of predicted this, that she might be like an ailment and debuff specialist. And it seems to be the case. Let's take a look here. Let's just get right into it. So we have this cool costume for her. She's kind of got like a cute winter outfits. I'm liking it. And this one will boost this brand new R ability that we're seeing on her weapon. A few of them, I think. In any case, HP, always good, right? And we have this new buff debuff extension. It says stats, potency, resistance, and that's referring to all the different buffs and debuffs. So like some buffs like boost your stats, like attack, or element potency. I don't know if we have any element buffs yet, but we might in the future. And then, yeah, resistance, like when you lower the element resistance. So those kind of buffs. And we're seeing that she comes in with 3 different breach weapons in the normal pool. Very cool. Okay, the weapon. Now, keep in mind that a notice just dropped saying there's an error and nobody knows what the error is. I'm trying to get the info, but I need to shoot the video now, so it is what it is. Here we have our 3rd physical buffing weapon. Of course, we have the Glen Halloween weapon, the Bramble Spine from Matt, and every time they get a little better, right? But at least all 3 of them are in the normal pool. Like this one. It also has the new R ability here. You see this? Awesome. Now, nobody's really tested this yet to see what percentage amounts to what amount of time. I guess you can do the math on it. So let's say you have like a 20-second buff, and then, you know, if you get to level 3, then you multiply it by 1.8. Yeah, so anyway, buff extension, that's really crucial. I hate it when those things run out. So this is a really cool new effect we're seeing here. New R ability, and that also kind of opens the door that we might see new R abilities come up in the future. Very cool. And we can only speculate as to what they might be. The new thing here is that she also buffs herself. So very cool. So she can be your supporter and side DPS and not have to waste time cast, like all that ATB to cast it on herself as well. It automatically goes to self. However, you see at OB0, it will stack to high potency on 2 applications, but not for herself. And then at OB6, it will start at high potency when you buff an ally. But again, self starts at mid, but then the self buff stacks to high. Okay, let me make sure I'm not in the way there. Okay, looking good. All right. So love the weapon, very cool, and this is just pretty straightforward, nothing groundbreaking or new there. The spirit materia. All right, so yeah, and then Glenn comes in with a new weapon. That's just like the Zidane sword, but it's normal pool. You can put it in your wish list and start building up your dupes to have a new, powerful, non-elemental weapon. You see 910 at OB6 and 1040 at OB10. So very cool, and it's got the physical ability, potency, stance. So yeah, we want to figure out whether this is something you want to pull on. And then also, like all of her new weapons, which ones are worthy of going into your wish list. And the wish list is going to be different for everyone, depending on what you have. Like the first thing you want to put in here is like the Umbrella and the Killer Hornet for the great R abilities. And then maybe some DPS weapons you're trying to get up to OB6. And then maybe some weapons that you missed, right? Like I want at least one more dupe on my micro laser. That's why that's in here. But man, my pulls went crazy. I put in like Cloud's Hard Edge and Glenn's Piece of Cake because I wanted to get them to OB6. And both of them got to OB6, so I'm like switching out my wish list as I go. I ended up putting some of the new Yuffie weapons in. And we'll talk about those in a moment. All right, so that's the banner. Really quick, let's head over to the notice and just I'm going to talk about this really quick. So yeah, this is where they mention, this is where they clarify this new R ability. And yeah, so it'll, you know, affect the duration of all those things, yada yada, very beautiful. But yeah, we got this new one that just dropped as I'm shooting here. That there's an error on the displayed combat ability of Boomerang, Crystal Cross, Spiral, Shuriken, and Arctic Star, and we just don't know what the error is. It says, well, they're working the way they're supposed to, but, you know, these items have only been out for a few hours, and no one's really tested it. So sorry, I can't give you a better description there, and if I'm giving you wrong info because I'm reading a wrong description, I'm sorry. Once it's updated, I'll put it in the description, so don't miss that. Okay, cool. Let's get to the reviewing her new normal pool weapons. We can look at them all here. All right, of course, we know what the featured one is. Next up, we have an AoE physical attack debuff. It only goes up to mid, but it's AoE, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, at 5-star, let's see, starts at low. That's kind of rough. This is kind of, but it does, look, it has the new R ability, so it helps you stack that, and that can be really cool. Again, I'm not sure exactly where the sweet spot is going to be, but 40 to 80, that's a huge change. I'm thinking we want to at least get to level 3 here. So that's awesome. And, you know, other than that, other than this new R ability, this is kind of inferior to the Sephiroth limited weapon. Of course, it's limited. If you started on Steam release, you don't have access to that anyway. And unfortunately, you can't compress those two effects because his has physical and magic debuff AoE. But I like the weapon. Not a huge priority. Okay, the Boomerang. Next up, we have another Fire Breach. And look, even at OB0, it stacks up to high potency. And I don't think Sephiroth, no, Sephiroth, yeah, it does. I think you just need dupes on it. Yeah, because we just got the Sephiroth weapon that does this. Of course, his packs in more effects into one, has defense break as well. And yeah, this is awesome if you can get this to, oh my god. So OB6, it comes in at high potency. Fire Breach weapon here. Really awesome, especially if you don't have that Sephiroth weapon. This is a little more effective for specifically for the Fire Breach. So maybe on a different strat, you have someone that has a high potency defense break, and then you bring this for high potency breach. Okay, moving along, we have the same thing, but for ice. That's what this one is, right? Sorry, yeah, ice breach, right. Ice resistance is decreased, and same deal. Get it to OB6 to start at high potency. Okay, AoE Earth weapon. That will be one of the lesser desirable ones. Oh, another magic attack buff. So, yep, yet another. And this is the Crystal Cross. This is one of the ones mentioned in the notice, so I don't know what is incorrect here. But it all looks right. I can't see what could possibly be wrong here. At OB6, it starts at high potency. You know, buff an ally, but this one doesn't buff herself. Regular generic ability potency. That's cool. You know, she's going to be like a support goddess. This is awesome. You can bring her as like a magic buffer, physical buffer, and then a breacher. The only thing is she doesn't have any like regular defense break weapons yet. That's kind of a bummer, but I imagine we might be seeing that soon. All right, I put this one in because I have the red weapon, but red just seems to be so useless outside of that lightning breach. I'd rather bring Yuffie, and she can do just like the other ones. You know, OB6, we have it starts at high potency. Really awesome. Kind of unfortunate to bench red. I like him, but You know, of course, I don't have it yet anyway. So, like, eventually I might want to, down the line, when this gets more boosts, I'm going to want to use her instead. Twin Viper. Aha. So, I think this is the first poison weapon. I can't remember if we have another one. But this is really cool, and let me tell you, if you're new to this universe of gacha games, poison can be really cool to use on your end. It can be great for extremely hard fights when bosses have really chunky HP, because poison usually works as like a fixed percentage damage. So in some games, like in Nier or in Mobius, we did this, where you just come with an extremely tanky defense build and let the poison do its work. But, you know, this is going to be cool. Like, it doesn't have to be a full tank build. It can be cool anyway if you're bringing the offense and then you have the poison doing even more damage. Now, someone in my community on Discord just posted that there's a new ailment effect in the game, Confuse. Of course, we've seen this if you've ever played the actual Final Fantasy games. It makes you attack yourself. So, I bet, since we're seeing Yuffie as like an ailment specialist, I bet she gets a future weapon with Confuse, and you're going to want it because it's going to be super powerful. And obviously, not every boss is going to be susceptible to it. That would be too broken, but a lot of them will be, and Confuse strats are going to be so cool. It's just as good as like a stun, right? Because if they're confused, they can't hit you. And it's even better, they're damaging themselves. In any case, we do have a poison weapon here, and because I kind of cleared up some space, I threw that one in. Wait, what happened here? I could have sworn I threw the poison one in. I guess I messed up. Yeah, I meant this to be this. Oh, because I didn't hit set when I did it. Doesn't matter, because it didn't drop in my pulse anyway. That's the one I wanted. Okay, cool. So, moving on. A nice ice damage weapon. P-attack, ice potency, pretty cool. And this is like, it looks like the same multipliers as the Tifa Ice Fist. So that's cool, you know, more, like I said before, like side DPS options. And then the final one, a physical wind with, oh, this is AoE. I was wondering, you know, at first I was like, what's with the multipliers? It's AoE. So these are okay. Usually the AoE weapons are like farming weapons, and I still don't even use them when I farm. So I think the AoE ones are lesser desirable. And on your wish list, if you've already cleared up, like you're feeling good about your DPS weapons and your like stance damage weapons, you know, the weapons that you want good R abilities, or maybe the ones you skipped, and you do have some room, I think the poison one could be cool. I haven't used it yet. I don't know exactly what the percentage is on poison in this game, but since it's unique and interesting, I would recommend that. And I put this in, but I'm not that thrilled on this weapon anyway. Being able to boost this new R ability would be cool, but that's just because I freed up the space. Like I said, during my polls, I kept getting, I would wish list it, like, because I'm almost at OB6, and then it dropped. I'm like, oh, I gotta change my wish list. So that's why it's in there. Otherwise, I might try to find something better to put there. Like maybe I would go here and keep working on overboost for my Killer Hornet or something. As it is, I do have to finish. I only made it to 10 stamps. The stamp luck was horrible. The drops were good. And that's kind of how it went for me. So if you're wondering if you should pull, you know, it's a tough one. Let's see, we still have this, and this banner was incredible, and might not have mentioned in the last one that like Cloud's new sword is like more multiplier than the previous elemental DPS weapons. It hits like a truck, and let me tell you, pulling these weapons, it felt really good. I just did those dungeons that just expired, that required fire, and just incinerated everything. the Yuffie fight, you know, was really, it was really effective there. And I still really like the Sephiroth weapon here. Let's see. Yeah, the PDF starts at mid. And you see the fire breach is low and then has to get to, yeah. Low stacking to mid, and then when you get to OB6, it starts at high. But it's conditional, you see, but hers isn't conditional. And hers starts at mid. Of course, he has the 2 effects. So, you know, decide what makes the most sense for you, because I think this banner is still really good, and then Yuffie is like more like, especially if you're like a dolphin or a whale, and you do have the resources to round things out. Otherwise, what is she really bringing for you, except for like a new buffing weapon that, you know, she has this new aura ability that extends, which can be really effective. So she's a way better buffer than we've seen before. And if you're really on a budget and out of resources, then I wouldn't sweat it. Like maybe you already have one of the buffing weapons, and you know, how much is this really going to change the game for you? So possibly a skip. It's hard to say because I'm so hyped on it. I just want the good stuff, and I had like 24K. They've really been giving us a lot of crystals lately, haven't they? So I'm kind of happy here. I wanted to get something for her. I'm going to continue until I get the costume. So really only need 6K more or 5K more crystals myself just to finish out the costume and be done with it. That could be a good decision for you if you do have around there, maybe 30K that you can spare. And again, like the crystal income is feeling really good right now. And we got the reprint event where you can earn the crystals again, which is cool because in Nier Reincarnation, same companies, right? Square and Applebot. They got to a point after like 1 year anniversary where they gave us reprint events where we don't get the gems again. So that might come in the future of this game, we don't know, but as of right now, we got a reprint and we do have the crystals, which is really nice. And my recommendation for those truly on a budget and who might be hoarding, we can expect the half anniversary of this game to come up in March. So knowing Applebot and Square Enix and all the other gacha games I've played within this realm, anniversaries are always the biggest deal, and usually we see the biggest power creep on those anniversaries. So in March, you can probably expect a big step up and something that's going to be a must-have. So if you're the saving type, keep that in mind, that March should be pretty sweet. Now that I've gotten all my elements, I got all my element weapons, now that I have the Cloud Fire Sword, and then I did want to get something for Yuffie, and I do like her ailment specialist role. I'm grabbing this, and then I'm laying low. I'm going to do my best to not give into the FOMO. I'm laying low for the rest of January and February, build up some savings, because for me, spending in this game is getting a little exhausting. Unless you're a full-on whale, it can be very exhausting, and I feel like the spending that I'm doing isn't mattering enough. Cool, so those are my thoughts on this banner. If you're pulling, I wish you the best of luck, and let me know how it went for you in the comments, and let me know what thoughts you have to share on this new banner. That's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.